Hello Internet, welcome to my DDD deck profile. My name is Antimatter. I'm also known as Chainbreaker on DevPro. So let's get straight into the deck profile. I run 3 DDD Oblivion King Abyss Ragnarok. He's one of the main combo pieces of the deck. When you summon him, you can summon back a DDD monster in your graveyard, so this can be Dark, it could be Temujin, it could be a Tel or a Caesar to get the grave effect when you use his other effect. His other effect is you contribute a DD monster you control to banish a monster your opponent controls, which comes very in handy when playing against certain decks. I also opt to run 3 DD Savant Newton. The reason that I run 3 Newton, many people will tell you run 1, but to me Newton is a godsend. He can get back anything I need from the graveyard, which I've dumped via Tel, Beatrice, Minerva, Copernicus. So he can get me contracts that have died, he can get me back Ragnaroks I want to scale or summon, Howlings to reuse. So yeah, he's one of the best cards I feel. He's also a high scale, which means you can actually pendulum summon now in the deck, which is extremely awesome. So next up I run 3 DD Baphomet. DD Baphomet is one of the main combo pieces of the deck. He can change a DD monster's level to a level between 1 and 8. Usually you'll pick 4, so that you can overlay with it to become Caesar, or to synchro into the new DDD boss monster, DDD Curse King Siegfried, which I'll get into later. Generally you'll be reviving him off DD Night Howling or Ragnarok or Temujin to combo into other powerful DDD monsters. So here's a new one, DD Orthros. He's not really used in many combos, and his tuner status doesn't really come in handy at all very often, because when he's special summoned he locks you into fiend type monsters, which as you can see I only run 1 of that he can make anyway. So his synchro stats doesn't come into effect very often. But what does make him a very good card for the deck is his Pendulum effect. He is a scale 3, which allows you to summon pretty much anything you want to when you scale it with a Newton, and it allows you to Pendulum summon level 4s when you scale it with Ragnarok up here. But his Pendulum effect is once per turn, you can target a spell or trap card on the field, and another DD or Dark contract you control and destroy them, which means that you can trigger things such as Caesar, or Tel, on your turn, and pop a back row on your opponent's turn. When you use it in combination with Kepler, it's incredibly useful. It can be used as another Twin Twister, because if for those of you who don't know, Kepler is known as the Stratos of the deck, but he has a second effect. His second effect is you can target a DD card you control and return it to the hand when he's normal summoned. So you can use Orthros, pop a back row, normal summon Kepler, bounce your Orthros back to your hand, and then reset the Orthros, popping Kepler in another back row. So that comes in handy a lot when your opponent's playing something like Perform Agent Pals and they've set a 3 back row Solemn. You can probably Twin Twister and Orthros your way through it before you start comboing. Okay, so next up we have DD Savant Copernicus, another card we got from the starter deck. His effect is when he's normal or special summoned, you can send a DD or contract from your deck to the graveyard. This works very well with Newton because you can dump Gates and get it back with Newton so that you have your resource to play with. He's also really good at dumping things such as the Slimes, so you can get a fusion summon, and he's really good at dumping the new tuner of the deck, Lamia, which I'll get into later. Next up we run 2 Night Howling, only 2. Reason being, we have 3 Newton to get it back with if we do need it. Normally I would run 3, but the 3 Newtons suffice. So if you're not running 3 Newton, I'd recommend running 3 Night Howling, but I run 2. His effect is when he's normal summoned, you can special summon a DD from the graveyard. Most people see him as a tuner. I don't see him as a tuner at all. If you get back Baphomet, you can make Caesar or Tel with him. If you get back Copernicus, you can make Alexander, which goes into fair few plays. But usually I use him to grab back an Abyss Ragnarok from the graveyard. Now you may be thinking to yourself, why would you do that? You can't use Howling in a Synchro or Exceed summon with him. But this triggers Abyss Ragnarok's effect to summon a DDD monster from the graveyard, and at best it can be a Kali Yuga. so you can summon Abyss Ragnarok, get back another Abyss Ragnarok, and overlay into Kali Yuga. Another thing is, if he gets back something that isn't a level 8, even if he does get back a level 8 actually, you can tribute Night Howling to banish a monster, and then continue your play with what you revived. So Night Howling's definitely a staple. 3 of, if not 2 of, when you have 3 Newton. Next up we have DD Swell Slime, easily one of the best cards in the deck. You can use his effect once per turn to fuse with DD monsters in your hand, so you can bring out Dark or Temujin. And he's an incredibly useful combo starter because you can banish him from the graveyard to special summon a DD, which also triggers things like Ragnarok and Temujin when they're scaled or summoned. Next up, DD Necroslime. Not as useful as his counterpart, but from the graveyard you can fuse, so this is great once you've dumped him and you haven't used him, because if they wipe your board you can bring out a Temujin and start rebuilding. This is one of the fun things about DD decks, is that even if everyone wipes out your resources, you can always get them back if you have a DD Necro Slime in your graveyard, which is always good. Next up we have DD Lamia. This is easily the best card in the entire deck. She is a tuner, generic level 1, so she doesn't lock you into DDs or Fiends, which means we can run things such as Trishula, the new Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, we run Cyframe Omega. So she's a very good target to revive off of things like Temujin and Abyss Ragnarok, because if you use her effect she gets banished and then you'll want to use Omega to put her back in the graveyard. So all in all, she's one of the best cards in the deck. She also triggers Temujin and Ragnarok, which is another feature. You don't have to use her as a synchro material. You can use her to start off summon chains and end with Baphomet to turn it into a Caesar or a Siegfried, for example. Then we have our Stratos of the deck, DD Kepler. When he's normal summoned, you add a contract from your deck to your hand. At the moment, I don't run any of the trap contracts, if you haven't noticed. I only run 3 Gate and 1 Swamp. The reason I'm not running any of the trap contracts, except for in the side deck of course, is because Witch pops 1 card on the field, which is okay, but you don't normally have resources left to discard from your hand, or that you want to discard from your hand to use Witch. So I find it a bit subpar at the moment. And Errors is only really useful against decks that run heavy back rows such as Magispectre. So they're in the side deck for those kinds of matchups. But yeah, other than grabbing a contract, as I've said earlier, he can combo with Orthros to give you a Twin Twister effect, which is incredibly nice. Next up for the spells, we run 1 for 1. 1 for 1 is great for setting up your graveyard with cards such as Baphomet, whilst getting out cards such as Kepler to search Gate, or Lamia to synchro summon with, so definitely a staple. We run 2 Twin Twister, with Pendulum decks running rampant and setting back rows of triple Solemns and other counter traps. Twin Twister really helps push the deck forward by preventing them from Pendulum summoning by stopping their scales, or by extending your own plays by stopping them Soloming you, so definitely would recommend running back row hate because of the format at the moment. Next up we run our new Dark Contract with the Yamamakai. A lot of people say that this isn't a very good contract, but I disagree. If you use it in tandem with things such as Beatrice, Tel, Minerva, or Copernicus, you can set Orthros from the graveyard, so you don't have to draw Orthros, you can dump him and then reset him. Same for Ragnarok and for Newton, because Newton you can discard it, get something back, and then scale it, which is always a great play to play in the deck. So I run it at 1, I wouldn't run it any higher because drawing multiples is pretty bad. Next up, we run 3 Gate, that's staple. He searches a DD monster to your hand every turn, so that's excellent to use. It's pretty self-explanatory. Next we run 1 Swamp King. A lot of people run 2. I used to run 2 myself, but I've recently cut it down to 1 because opening with multiples kind of cripples the hand and you can't combo as much. But the reason that we run Swamp King, even though we run Swell Slime and Necro Slime, is because A, you can make Wave Oblivion King Caesar Ragnarok, which requires 2 DDD monsters, so you can't make it with Necro Slime or Swell Slime. And he's a very good utility to have in your deck. Another reason is that you can fuse with Tells and Caesars on your side of the field, and get their grave effects, which I'll get into later. I love abusing these guys. Next up we run DDD Human Resources. Not a great card until you combine it with my new best friend Newton. Basically, you activate it, shuffle 3 cards from your graveyard, field, or hand back into the deck, and you can add any 2 DD monsters from your deck to your hand. Now usually you'll want to shuffle back things that have died, such as Darks, or Kaiser Ragnaroks, or Siegfrieds, that you can then make again. But then afterwards, once it's hit the graveyard, you can use Newton's effect to grab it back and start the loop all over again. It's called the resource loop. So you activate resources or dump resources with something like Copernicus, grab it back with Newton, activate resources, shuffle back 3 cards you don't need, get a +2, and then repeat the cycle again whenever you need it, so you use gate or resources to search out another Newton and keep recycling. It's actually a very good loop. It nets you a +1 every turn, and sets up a lot of combos, and works paramount to gate, because then you can get any 2 cards you need to start any 2-card or 3-card combo if you drew a card on your draw phase that you can use. Next up, staple, Vanity's Emptiness. Summon a big board, activate this, they can't do anything, GG. And then Triple Solemn Notice. This is a new card, and it is definitely staple at 3 in every deck. You should be running 3 of these if you're not already. It stops pendulum summons, and it stops monster effects, which basically stops most of the meta decks right now. And it's only at the cost of 1500 life points, so yeah, it's staple. You need to be running these if you're not. Okay, so on to the extra deck. We run DDD, A Wave Oblivion King, Caesar Ragnarok for removal of things such as Magispectors who can't be targeted if they're being blocked by something. Same for Cosmo ships, because Caesar Ragnarok doesn't target. So you bounce something on your field, and at resolution you can equip anything to him. It doesn't matter if it can't be targeted or not. He's also great at getting rid of monsters that are huge, so if they have, say, a 5000 attack point monster for whatever reason on the field, you can use Caesar Ragnarok to steal that monster and make it not a threat anymore, basically. It's also great at stopping graveyard effects, so if a monster who gets destroyed by battle gets an effect, you can summon this guy and equip that monster to him so he doesn't get that effect anymore. Or a monster they need in the graveyard, you can equip to this card, and then they don't get to use him yet. Next up we run Dante, Pilgrim of the Burning Abyss, which works in Paramount with Beatrice. Dante, when he's destroyed, he can grab a card from your opponent's hand and send it to the graveyard, which is really good at -1ing your opponent. It's also backup, because if Beatrice dies, he gets summoned, and he's a big 2800 body, which is pretty good. Next we run 1 Dark. Now, most people run 3. I disagree with this entirely. If you're going to run any DDD Darks, you should be running 2 or 1. I currently run 1. The reason is you can special summon it back from the graveyard at any point using Temujin or Abyss Ragnarok, and if it gets banished, you can get it back with Omega to the graveyard to be easily revived by the aforementioned cards. So I only run 1. To be honest, the burn from contracts isn't a lot. You can take 1000 or 3000 even damage, and you can still win the duel. It doesn't matter. You don't need to soak up that damage with Dark. She's just really a good 2800 beater, and she's level 7, which means you can use her with Lamia to make level 8s, which is always good. Next we run 2 Temujins. You should always be running at least 1 or 2 Temujins, because they summon out anything that's in the graveyard. So if your field gets wiped, or if you've made a good setup with Copernicus and Hell, then Temujin can rebuild an entire field. So he's very good. His second effect also is pretty good when it's late game and they've destroyed your contracts, so destroyed Gate or Swamp, and you need them back. You can crash your Temujin and get them back, so it gets you your resources as well, which is always nice. Next up we run 1 Trishula. There's a 2. Trishula in this deck is a 2-card combo. You can do it using Lamia and Swirl Slime. Now, you fuse Lamia to Swirl Slime to summon Temujin. Then you special summon Lamia back with its effect. Temujin triggers, summoning back Swirl Slime, and then that's 2 + 1 + 6 Trishula. You can also do it after summoning Kepler by summoning Dark and then bringing back Lamia, so that's 7 + 1 + 1 equals Trishula. So yeah, that's always good to use. Trishula is one of the best synchros in the game, and it doesn't target, so that's also really good at getting rid of things that are quite troublesome. Next we run the latest level 8 synchro, and it's probably the best level 8 synchro in the game in my opinion. Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. The downside of this is you do need to use a non-tuner Synchro monster to summon it, but we have Alexander for that. So it's a 3-card combo to get out. You use Temujin, become Alexander using Lamia, and then you bring back Lamia, and you Synchro into Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. What it does is once per turn, during either player's turn, if a monster effect is activated, you can negate it, destroy it, and then this card gains attack equal to the monster it killed. So if they have a troublesome monster like a Cosmo ship or something, you can negate it. It gains, say, 3000 attack if you kill the destroyer, so it's a big 6000 beta, which is awesome. Also, if it battles a level 5 or higher monster, it gains its attack during damage calculation, which is hilarious, especially if you're facing things like Cosmo or a DD mirror match or anything that summons big monsters. Next up we run the new latest king, DD Curse King Siegfried. Siegfried is a level 8 synchro monster that needs a DD non-tuner. He's basically a mini Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, but only targets spells and traps. So they activate Dark Hole, negate. They activate Reigeki, negate. It can also be used in the draw phase to negate Covenant Burn, but I don't really recommend doing that. I recommend stunning your opponent with it, because they have to kind of play around Siegfried. If you have Gate out already, I would recommend going into Siegfried over Caesar at this point. Next we run Cypher Lord Omega. Obviously, he's very staple in this deck now that we've got Lamia to access him with. He can get rid of a card in your opponent's hand, which gives them less resources to play with, which means you can out-resource them, which is always good. He also recycles things such as banished Swirl Slimes and Necro Slimes and Lamias, so yeah, he's definitely a very good card to run in DDDs. And then we run the 1 of Alexander. A lot of people don't run him, but I think you should always run 1 just because of the 3-king combo of summoning Temujin, then Alexander, which gets you back to 2 level 4s to summon Caesar, or in later cases Siegfried. So I'd always run him 1, and also he gives you access to Crystal Wing, which is the best synchro in the game right now. So yeah, I definitely run 1 Alexander. Next up, Kali Yuga. Pretty self-explanatory why we run him. He's Heavy Storm on legs, and he negates all cards on the field when he's summoned, which can really help when your opponent's locking you down. It's easy to summon. All you need is a Grave Ragnarok or a Graved Siegfried, and then you special summon Ragnarok, so Ragnarok brings him back, and then you overlay into Kali Yuga, which is really easy to do. So yeah, he's Heavy Storms on legs, and he can reset contracts from the grave that have been destroyed, which is also another useful effect. If you have a Grave Gate or something and you want it back, you can summon Kali Yuga. Next up we run Beatrice. Beatrice is a new Burning Abyss monster that's OCG exclusive at the moment, but she's basically a Lavavel chain, and we can make her by overlaying 2 Temujins, which isn't difficult to get out onto the field. You just use Swamp King and Swirl Slime, or Swirl Slime and Necro Slime, or any a combination of those 2. You make 2 Temujins, you overlay, you get Beatrice, you dump what you need. She also gets out Dante if she dies, which is another great advantage, because if they Reigeki you, you still have a monster on board, which is awesome. She also has a 2800 defense, which is quite difficult for a lot of decks to get over. But what we use her for is her Lavavel chain effect. We dump cards we need, such as Lamia or Necro Slime, to use in the future. It also gets rid of Temujins that you might end phase on, because Temujin doesn't do an awful lot early game after he's been used to special summon things. So if you overlay into Beatrice, you at least get 2 dumps out of her, and then you can summon back Temujin on the following turn to continue comboing using things such as Abyss Ragnarok. So yeah, Beatrice is definitely staying in my deck for now. Next up, Tell. Now, DD Marksman King Tell is one of my favourite DDs. He often gets overlooked because he's seen as subpar, but he is definitely one of the major combo players in the deck. So, he's basically Gaga Cowboy for our deck. He can detach a material if you took burn damage this turn, target a monster on the field. You can even target your own monsters, so your opponent don't need a monster to use this effect. That monster loses 1000 attack, and you burn them for 1000. Now that's just to end games. That's not his brilliant effect. His brilliant effect is when he's sent from the field to the graveyard, you can send a DD or Dark Contract from your deck to the graveyard. Now this allows you to toolbox using Newton, and it also lets you send things such as Necro Slime or Swirl Slime to be banished and use their effects. It also sends Lamia too. So yeah, he basically toolboxes the entire deck for you. So definitely worth running, and he can be recurable as well. You can use him more than once a turn, so I've used Tell 3 or 4 times in one turn before to fill up my graveyard with resources that I need. I can use it to shuffle back DD with DD human resources and get a +2, so yeah, he's always good to run. Next up, we run 1 DDD Wave King Caesar. Early game, you want to make him if you don't have Gate, because if he's sent from the field to the graveyard, you can get Gate to your hand. Late game, he can get you Swamp if you don't already have it, but 9 times out of 10, he's usually there to protect your field from a field wipe, because if they Regeki you and they enter the battle phase, your whole field's coming back. And if it's used with Dark, you can gain upwards of 2,000 life points during the next standby phase, which is always good. Yeah, but so he's a very good card to make early game. Later game, you'll want to rank him up into Tell so you can get the dumps. Next up, we run Minerva, the Exalted Light Swan. I absolutely love this card in the deck. Not many people are running it. I don't know why. He's really easy to summon. You just summon Copernicus, dump Slime, special summon another level 4, boom, you have Minerva. Minerva dumps the top 3 cards of your deck each turn by detaching a material. So because we're running 27 monsters, so it's a monster heavy deck, it can end up dumping stuff such as Swirl Slime or Lamias, or cards you can get back with Newton. And if it doesn't, it's dumping contracts for you to get back with Newton, and it can even dump resources to get back with Newton. So it works very well with triple Newton that I would choose to run. Now you may be asking, how come I'm only running 1 of each DDD boss monster except Temujin? The reason is Temujin and Ragnarok can revive them all, so I don't see the point in running more than 1, and if they get banished, Omega can put them back, so yeah. Another reason is DD human resources can shuffle them back into the extra deck if I do need them, which opens up extra deck space to fit in things such as Beatrice or Clearing Synchro Dragon, Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, sorry. So yeah, I'll probably be doing a combo video later on, probably January time, to showcase some of the combos. I'll start with things like 1-card combos using Kepler, or 2-card combos using Lamia or Swirl Slime. To help you guys learn the deck and play it better, because a lot of people I see, and I facepalm every time I do see it, they just play Sit on Dark the deck, and I really don't like that. That's not how DD is meant to be played. DD is a combo deck. It is not a Sit on Dark and Protect the Castle deck. So yeah, I'll definitely do that at some point later in the next month or so. But yeah, other ideas that I'm thinking of doing is live commentaries with some of my friends. So I'll be dueling using my DDs, and we'll be laughing and having a good time while crushing opponents. And we'll also be watching not so good players or some of my friends as well playing their decks, and we'll be commenting on what they could be doing better, other plays they might have made, what they're doing well, what they're doing poorly, and so on, so that, you know, we can have a good discussion, and in the comments section you can leave your thoughts and feelings about this too. So yeah, this is my DD deck profile. I hope you enjoyed. Oh, I almost forgot the side deck. Yes, the side deck. I'm running 3 Wavering Eyes because Pendulum Hate, Deck Devastation Virus, and Eradicator Epidemic Virus because this can crush decks, and Dark and Tell are very good targets for them. The 2 contracts I recommended earlier, this one to stop Magic Spectres, this one to stop things with 1 big monster threat, so stuff like Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon is very hurtful to our deck, we can just pop it with Witch. Anti-Spell Fragrance because more Pendulum Hate, and Rivalry of Warlords because all of our monsters that, well, except for extra deck, are Fiends, so we can use this to lock out decks that use multiple types such as Perform Mage and Palace. Yeah, so this is my DDD deck profile. If you want to ask any questions, please put your questions in the comments below and I'll get around to answering them. And if there's anything you want to see from this channel, such as I've suggested earlier, live commentaries, live duels, more duel videos, combo videos, etc., just leave your ideas down in the comment section below and I'll get around to them. So this is Antimatter signing out.